Get in the car. Get in the car.
To get me out again?
No, get in the car.
Just okay, please.
Get in the car.
Get me out again?
Come on.
Stop
Get in the car.
Stop
Come on.
that.
Whoa, Nicole, stop. Breathe. Take a step back. Can you just imagine if the roles were reversed? Can you imagine if Mahmoud was forcing Nicole into a car by grabbing her arm? Yeah, the police would be called. Rightly so. But watching this, what's more obvious than ever before is that Nicole's aggression and her controlling nature towards Mahmoud have got out of hand, and it's left him feeling very vulnerable.
Talk to me.
You asked me to go.
Mahmoud, you wanted to go. You started heading out the door.
You just tell
You
me.
told me you want a divorce, Mahmoud. What am I supposed to do?
Without Nicole, Mahmoud is completely alone in a foreign country, and she's been using that fact against him in a very cruel way. But before we get into that, let's rewind to the start. So we left the pair after Mahmoud demanded a divorce and Nicole yelled at him to go, to get the hell out of her apartment, which he promptly did, with his suitcase this time. But when we join them in this episode immediately after Mahmoud has left, Nicole begins to have second thoughts.
I'm gonna go after Mahmoud because this is like a crime-ridden city. It's very dangerous. And I don't want him out there on the streets late at night.
Nicole's developed a short fuse since Mahmoud's arrived in LA. She blows up, then says things that she later regrets. And as she jumps in the car to search for Mahmoud, she claims that were the situation to be reversed, were she the one to be storming out in Cairo, Mahmoud would be out there searching for her. So she'll do the same, she says. But even when she finds him, she's still furious. She yells at Mahmoud to get in the car.
Get in the car. Get in the car.
To get me out again?
No, get in the car.
Just okay, please.
Get in the
to
car.
Get me out again?
Come on.
Stop that.
Get in the car.
Stop
Come on.
that.
It's dark and it's hard to see, but it does look like Nicole's manhandling Mahmoud, trying to force him into her car. The way that she's commanding Mahmoud feels almost like she's talking to a dog. It's, at the very least, very disrespectful. Sure, she might be mad, but Mahmoud's also clearly very upset. And it just feels like there's got to be a more civil way that she could be handling this, rather than just grabbing his jacket and forcing him in.
Just
Get in the car. No, I'm not gonna stop.
Just stop.
No.
Just stop.
Get the bag in the car, Mahmoud.
Nicole's not taking no for an answer, and for as aggressive as she's being, perhaps for the first time this season, this is her way of actually fighting for their relationship. If Mahmoud stays another night at a hotel, that would mean he's spent just as many nights at a hotel as he has at his wife's apartment. And maybe she can't handle that fact. Maybe she can't handle how quickly she seems to have given up on this marriage. But the way that she's fighting right now seems to have really touched Mahmoud.
Because after she kicked me out, she come in back and tried to find me. She just showed me she still care about me, and I get so surprised about that.
As they drive back to Nicole's apartment, it's very apparent that the goings-on of tonight have emotionally, severely impacted Mahmoud. His time in the States has been an emotional rollercoaster. He's very confused, and it's easy to understand why. His wife has been screaming at him, she's been ambushing him, she's been pushing all of his buttons. Heck, she even tried to make out like he was a thief. But now here she is, fighting for him. Mahmoud can't make sense of her behaviour, and it's really taking a toll on him.
Talk to me.
You asked me to go.
Mahmoud, you wanted to go. You started heading out the door.
You just tell me.
You told me you want a divorce, Mahmoud. What am I supposed to do?
These two can't ever seem to find each other. They're just always on different pages. Their problems keep stacking up like paperwork, and at this point, it feels basically impossible that they'll ever get through it. Mahmoud constantly threatens Nicole with divorce every time that they fight. But by the same token, Nicole's not exactly much better. I mean, she has kicked him out of her apartment twice in 4 days. So where do they go from here?
Give me a second, please, Nicole. Give me a second.
Just by yourself?
Yes.
In the car?
Yes.
Can I wait out here while you are in here?
Okay.
Mahmoud needs a second to breathe. There's a lot running through his mind right now. He knows he loves Nicole, but he also knows he doesn't need to be with her. It's funny, right? Because while on the one hand, watching Mahmoud's breakdown here is quite sad to see, Nicole, by comparison, sees this as a step forward. She sees it as Mahmoud actually being honest about his emotions for once. And that is something that she can work with.
I feel like these tears suggest that he is capable of change and of moving forward. You know, I still care about him, and I'm not ready to let go or say goodbye.
Now, even though Mahmoud's tears don't exactly prove that he can change, what I think they do show is he does care about this relationship. He does care about what happens to his marriage. And thankfully, this show of emotions does serve to pacify Nicole a little bit. So after Mahmoud takes his moment, the pair head upstairs and Nicole puts on some tea. They obviously have a lot to talk about.
I'm mad as hell and frustrated, but I still love him. So, I mean, maybe past the anger, there's some hope. So maybe if I just calm down, I'll kind of know what I need to do.
Nicole needs to calm down. She's had literally zero patience for Mahmoud. Her behaviour's baffling. Like, she genuinely seems to have thought that Mahmoud's entire character would just magically transform within minutes, within days of arriving in America. Remember, it took her 4 years to figure out that she couldn't live in Egypt his way. She went back and forth numerous times. So, Nicole, give the man a few more days to figure out the same. Don't expect miracles right away. And as they sit and sip on their tea, they finally begin to address all of their numerous deep issues.
You told me at least 20 different times you wanted a divorce.
Yeah, and you decide after like 5 hours you come with your friend to fight with me?
No, I brought my friends over because they wanted to meet you.
No, hang on, Nicole. This only works if you're also being completely honest. Just admit it. You didn't just bring your friends over that night to meet Mahmoud. You were very pissed off at him and you wanted them to come and validate that you did nothing wrong. But Mahmoud seems too emotionally exhausted to even argue that point. He moves on to another major bugbear of his. Why is it, he asks, that you have a secret stash of alcohol in your apartment?
So what? Like, I keep alcohol in the freezer when people come over. That's what you offer.
So,
and you can't tell me I
so-
can't be American.
Look, of course, I totally understand what Nicole's saying here. It is a social norm to offer drinks to your guests, right? But she seems to conveniently be confusing nationality with religion. It is very possible to be American and Muslim. She was the one that converted to Islam. No one forced her. But, like it or not, alcohol is just something that Mahmoud's gonna have to get used to. Whether it's at home or out and about, he's not gonna be able to stop people in LA from drinking.
And you're gonna have to learn how to be Muslim here. Okay? And just because you don't participate in it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And that, like, it's not haram for everyone.
For once, Nicole's actually nailed it. Yeah, imagine that. Surprise, surprise. Communication actually improves when you're not screaming at each other. Look, Mahmoud's objective needs to be to figure out how he can live in LA, how he can integrate into American life whilst still following his religion. The sooner he can accept that that's going to look very different to his life in Cairo, the sooner and easier his adaptation process will be. But the problem is, instead of listening and taking in what Nicole's saying, Mahmoud views this as yet another way that Nicole's trying to control him.
Nicole, when she be in Egypt, she always felt like I'm trying to controlling her. When I come here, she's on her country and she wanna show me like here is like I have the power or something.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, part of me thinks exactly the same as Mahmoud. Nicole's definitely trying to flex her new power in a new country here. She's trying to rebalance the mismatched power dynamic within their relationship. I think there's definitely an element of revenge in the way that she's acting. Now, Nicole herself brings up yet again how much she's had to change for Mahmoud over the last 4 years. And she tells her husband she's received so little back from him in the last 3 days since he's been there.
Mahmoud said that he would give his best effort to embrace life here. And then he just kind of went right back to the way he was.
No, that's not fair. He didn't go back. He's remained as he was because Nicole hasn't really given him a chance to change. Like, the only really American thing he's done since he's arrived was to go on a walk on a pier. And even that resulted in a fight. A fight, might I add, that was needlessly started by Nicole. Look, I don't want to downplay and simplify their problems, right? But honestly, if she'd just given Mahmoud some time, if she'd just let him sleep off his jet lag before expecting him to change his entire personality, well, then they might not be in the position they're now in, which frankly isn't exactly a good one.
I will stay here for just a few days before I decide to leave or what.
So it's fine, you can stay here.
Mahmoud will stay for now. He still needs time to wrap his head around everything that's gone on. His whole life has been turned upside down and he just needs to catch his breath. He needs to figure out if he can actually live happily in LA. Will he be able to accept Nicole living her own life independent of his religion? These are some very serious questions that he's going to need to come up with answers for very fast. And it's not really a surprise that he's going to have a lot of time by himself to start trying to get to the bottom of them.
I'm not going to share a bed with you. In the living room, you can have your own space. Just no fighting. House rules.
That, Nicole, is a great rule. I just hope you'll be able to abide by it yourself. The truth is, whether you like to admit it or not, other than one argument about your dress, all other arguments since he's arrived have been instigated by you. Now, if she is able to follow her own rules, then perhaps over the next few days, maybe they might actually get somewhere. But if she can't, then she might just lose Mahmoud forever.
I don't want to like take fast decision when I'm mad, because if I leave, I never back. Thank you.
And while this isn't the first time we've heard them say this is our last chance to fix our relationship, somehow I think this time it's actually real. They're fast running out of options. If Mahmoud can't live in LA and Nicole can't live in Egypt, there's nowhere left for them to go.